Where is the storm right now? Where is it headed? And how great is the danger now that it's downgraded to a storm?
Yeah, you are correct to say it has been downgraded. It has now only been called a tropical depression. It's no longer a tropical cyclone. As you can see, it was a tropical cyclone over the ocean, but once it made landfall, it lost the energy supply of the ocean. So now it's just a tropical depression, meaning that it's no longer as strong, and the rainfall that we're expecting out of it is no longer as much as the one that we saw over in Inhambane when it made landfall. But we still do have a warning for possibility of flash flooding in the low veld of South Africa from Limpopo down towards the Mpumalanga province. But as I mentioned, it's no longer as strong, so we do expect just slight winds in some places and heavy rainfall. And as you can see on this loop here, it is weakening and moving further northwards. We're expecting it to move further westwards to even reach Botswana, bringing some heavy rain there towards the weekend. Otherwise, for South Africa, it's only tonight and tomorrow where we're still expecting some heavy rain, and from there we're expecting mostly normal weather. So
give us a sense of the strength of what we're going to experience here. Mozambique, we're hearing 200-kilometer-an-hour winds and destruction there. People have died as trees are falling down. We're getting a storm, but you know, there's warnings of floods. Just how dangerous is it? Just what kind of damage can be caused?
Flash flooding can actually be quite dangerous, especially to these areas in the low veld where there was drought. Because of that, the soil is still dry. Then when it rains heavily, the water just runs off and results in flooding of rivers. So it can be very dangerous. But in terms of the winds that we saw earlier, we're no longer in for those. So we cannot say that we will see damage of winds because it's no longer a tropical cyclone. It's just now a normal storm.
Nduduzi, this was a cyclone when it made landfall in Mozambique. How unusual is something like this in our sort of area in the world?
It is quite uncommon for them to reach as far west as this. They usually develop just towards the east of Madagascar and affects those Indian Ocean islands there. But for them to reach further westwards like this, it's uncommon, but it does happen. As you can remember, in year 2000, a tropical cyclone Elene, which was quite severe compared to this one. So from time to time we do get them developing, especially those that develop over the Mozambique channel. They are able to move further westwards and even reach towards the central parts of southern Africa. But the ones that develop further towards the eastern parts of Madagascar are the ones that become significant and severe, causing damages towards those areas. The ones that you get over these areas, if they are strong enough, they do bring quite a lot of damage, as we have seen over Mozambique in the past couple of years, especially in year 1987 in tropical cyclone Domonia, which caused quite a lot of damages on those areas, and actually even caused a lot of damages over South Africa, Swaziland and the northern parts of KZN. But this one is quite light. In fact, this one was category 1. We can get them as strong as category 5 with winds reaching up to about 250 kilometers per hour. And this one only reached about 100 kilometers per hour. In terms of rainfall, we did see some areas over Mozambique receiving more than 100 millimeters of rainfall in a short period of time. But over South Africa, we're only expecting up to 50 millimeters in a space of 24 hours, starting from tonight to tomorrow morning. Otherwise, really, it's not that significant in terms of the normality.
So what's significant about, I mean, because we hear about floods all the time in Mozambique in particular, and that sort of eastern seaboard. What is particular about that area? The Indian Ocean, we believe, is quite warm. Why don't we see it further south, Port Elizabeth, coming all the way down to the Cape, and then the Atlantic Ocean? Is there, what's the difference?
Okay, firstly, tropical cyclones form under warm ocean waters. The sea surface temperature should be at least 26 degrees. The cyclones, by their nature, they occur between a certain latitude, between 5 degrees and about 15 degrees south. 5 degrees south, 15 degrees south. Anything below that, the water is too cold for cyclones to develop. So over these oceans, which are quite cooler, especially these ones where there's even a cold current here, it's impossible for storms to develop here. But over these oceans, which are warm, which are the main sources of storm development. They develop here and then move across the region, the 5 degrees and 15 degrees. They move across this belt. As you can see, this one, I said it's moving further eastwards, westwards to reach these areas. It will never develop over these areas because these oceans towards the northern parts of KZN are also warm. We can see them developing over there and moving here, but they cannot go further south. If they come here, they either go this way or move overland and decay overland because there's no more supply of moisture.
Dizzy, thank you very much indeed for that exposition.
I've just realised there's one good thing to the freezing cold water in Cape Town and protects us from cyclones. All right, we take a short break. More news to come.